My people. Good evening, my people. Thank you for coming in with us for another episode of Facts Over Feelings. As you've seen the last couple of times, we've had a resident so-called MAGA Republican in here talking his stuff. That was fun. I'll say that much. That was fun. What you say, Jordan?
Fun is a good way to explain it. It's educational for sure. It's an experience.
Very, very much so. As you see, you just got the two ball-headed brothers in here tonight.
Ball-headed brothers. I like that.
Yeah, Orlando. Yeah, Mr. Owens did call me. Messaged me earlier. Said his wife was sick. He wasn't able to come in. But I told him that's cool because we're gonna be pivoting a little bit for the next couple of episodes. Anyway, starting tonight and then next week, doing a couple of things different. So we didn't need his There we go.
His perspective.
We didn't need his perspective tonight and next week, but not. But when I told him whenever we get back to that road again, he'll be the person we call because he loves to come in and spew it. So I know tonight the topic was going to be about red, white, and blue in the women's movement or women's. What was it again, Tay? Yeah, I've forgotten. So he just wanted to have a discussion just around the women. We're trying to get more women input here. So for y'all that's watching and women that maybe want to get into the discussion, don't be scared. There's nothing to be scared about. We're not, we ain't the, as my godfather would say, we ain't the best that did and got away with it either. So, if you got some opinions or some things you want to discuss, especially around, the Black local politics that we normally discuss here, come on with it. You don't have to be an expert in that field. Just the knowledge of what you think you know and what you think you have an understanding of. Come on, and we'll discuss it. And we ain't gonna clown you unless you're MAGA. Now, if you're MAGA, we're gonna clown you. That's just what we do. Sorry. But if you ain't, and you can come in here and talk with some sense, come on with us. Come on with us. So I have put out a couple of feelers with some ladies. I'm trying to get Michelle Bryant back here with us too, so maybe that'll ease some of y'all's tensions or nervousness about coming on to the show. But again, y'all out there, y'all got some opinions of stuff or just need a basic understanding, come on down. Come on,
Cletus.
Right. Come on, Cletus. We don't bite. A quick pivot. Yesterday we did celebrate Martin Luther King Day. Again, his actual birthday is on January 15th, but per federal bill that was signed in 1986 by funny thing, Ronald Reagan. The Martin Luther King Day is celebrated on the third Monday of January. No matter what Monday or what matter what's going on that day is set aside for us to observe the great works of Martin Luther King, Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King. I want to give him his full due and what he sacrificed for us. And a lot of us aren't even willing to sacrifice the day of not doing something. This man sacrificed his family, his life to get us where we are today. And I'd like to bring that up because I see this current administration has taken great strides to reverse and redo and whitewash a lot of what he accomplished and that movement accomplished for us as people. And it just sickens me to see that in 2025 and 2026, actually, we'll start in 2025 with him trying to reverse things, and it carries on till today. That this administration, with the stroke of a pen, you were just able to sort of undo and attempt to undo a lot of the policies and things that have got us to where we are as a people. And just to see that, it just sickens me. It sickens me. And it even more sickens me when we have Black folks that are championing this administration that's following on with it, and he's showing you day by day, every day, they don't care about us. They don't care about people that look like us. They don't care, and he shows you. Like yesterday, he didn't put out a proclamation until late Monday evening. That was the first time, and I can't remember when the White House itself, the executive branch, failed to make a proclamation on King Day. And then he did it, only did it because people started
saying
calling
stuff about it. Yeah.
him out. That's the only reason why that is. In NAACP, was calling him out. And then all of a sudden now we get a thing like, you know, it's like, okay, well, here's y'all proclamation, just make y'all happy. Like, if y'all don't see this, y'all just, I don't know, some of y'all black folks just trip me out. I cannot stand Black MAGA. I just can't do it. Tim, right? Tommy, he has a question in here. He says, I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on the Mandela and Crawley gubernatorial bid. What do y'all think they're going against each other and what would be the results? It's funny you mentioned that. If you stay tuned to the end of this show and you will get a little bit of your questions here answered. Just stay tuned. So, Jordan, too, I want to introduce Jordan again with me. He has signed on to be my co-host.
Yeah, honor, privilege.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. I love his perspective and what he brings because he is a registered Democrat, but also brings an independent thinking, which I think we need to be more as liberals need to be more open to that. Because I think that's how we get stuff moving, and we keep our base and keep them engaged and keep them moving. Just to have an open perspective about things. Everything, you know, is not always right. It used to be a time where I would say I could talk to Republican.
Yeah,
I have no problem. A true conservative Republican, as long as it makes sense, we can have a conversation to see where we can fit in at. So, thank you, Jordan, for coming along with us, man. This has been fun.
Yeah,
I cannot wait till we go forward, man.
Yes, it's been well. First, thank you for the invite, and for the invite to come on as a co-host. Yeah, these have been really fun. I just want to respond to that around the independent thought process that we all need to do. The more and more I get into this world of politics now, it's realizing that we as a constituency, we have to do a better job of being practical. And I think that is the word that I'm going to lean in more, even more than independent now, is practicality, because practicality is how we're going to get solutions that are going to move forward. And I think people need to, on the conservative end of the spectrum and on the liberal side of the spectrum, is politics is about negotiation. And what we're seeing now is that one party has abdicated the thought of any compromise or any shared mutual interest, and they're governing with this absolutist independent mind frame that their way is the only way that does it. And you're seeing some of the ramifications of that. So as a community, as a constituency, as a Black conglomerate, or as a people, we need to think around how can we practically come to the table with solutions that are going to move our issues and our progress forward. Because if we don't, nothing's ever going to happen. And we get into that cycle we get into that cycle that because we're so entrenched on one side, we miss the opportunity to figure out if there's a middle ground or if there's a solution that could be equitable for both people or for both sides to get across the board. So that to me is the biggest thing. I said a lot of words there, but it's practicality over everything else right now.
We definitely need, and it's just needed, especially us as a party. And I think just for us to progress and move forward, there's no problem with having that open perspective, man. Get new ideas. Okay, this may have worked in Minnesota. Let's see how it can work here. You know, let's see what can. There's no problem with exploring different ideas. Yeah. And as we talked about before, I just think our leadership needs to get younger too. Yeah. You know, I think the leadership needs to get younger. Yeah. Seriously. Yep.
It needs to get younger. It needs to get more progressive. It needs to be more future focused. Again, like we have leadership that are so entrenched in their ways, and they're missing that the world has changed and is continuing to change in front of their eyes. And if we don't respond now with a new way of thinking and a new way of legislating and a new way of trying to move this country and the city forward, then we're going to have another 40, 50 years of the same thing. It's unfortunate.
It is, man. And we have got to get it together. We got the midterms coming up. I do want to talk about that because, folks, as I went around knocking on doors a couple of weeks ago, a lot of people just don't know about the elections because, again, these midterm elections don't get a whole lot of advertisement, for lack of a better term. A lot of folks that are not going to do it. Oh, it's election coming up. It's election coming. People just didn't know. So again, that's one of the reasons why. And I think again, I will continually thank Tay for giving me this platform here, because that's what I want to make sure that we spread that kind of information so folks will know. But we can't say we didn't know.
Right.
They say you peers because of lack of knowledge. Well, now we're going to make sure that this platform makes sure that people are in the know and know what's going on, especially in our community. We do have primaries coming up here. I think they canceled February.
They canceled
right?
February's primary. Yep.
So the next one would be
April.
that we vote will be in April. So folks, spread the word, spread this, folks, this show. I hate to say like, share, tag, but share the stream with the folks. That's how we get the information out. The folks will know. And this is going to be that catalyst. This show is going to be that catalyst to ensure that folks know exactly what's going on. But yes, we do have an election coming up here in April, and it's just vitally important that we all hands on deck. Local elections matter a whole lot, and people don't understand that, and they get mad. Then folks get mad as why we have food deserts and why we have this going on. Why we don't have this going on? Because we don't hold our local elected officials to the fire, and that's the problem. And Tim says the Tom. I'm sorry, man. He gonna get you, Tommy. Tommy boy.
What's up, Tommy?
The February primary wasn't even on the website last week. See, that's a problem. So who do we talk to?
It wouldn't have been in so it was canceled.
Right, but I'm just saying, like.
Well, did they announce that it was canceled?
Okay, he said, okay. Now he said, it was canceled.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, so you just looked at it last week or not weeks before?
Yeah. Well, that's part of the issue too. Is the communication. It's a whole system failure. So the election commission, city of Milwaukee, the state, the county, primarily the election commission has to do a better job of informing the community of the schedule and what's happening. Because we get into the election season, then we look at just the date, but we don't think about early voting. We don't think about when you can and can't register, like all those different timelines. There's organizations that do that work, but as a whole, there needs to be more intentional investment around the marketing around the election season so that the community can see it. If you go to the library, you can see it. It's posted up there, but like it needs to be in the barbershops, in the grocery stores, and we need to just take more time and effort to make sure the community is aware of when these dates are coming up. Yeah,
so we got to keep that in mind, y'all. April primary in the city of Milwaukee. We have that coming up. So y'all, please make sure you're registered. Please make sure you got your ID. It takes. When I took my daughter to get registered to vote, when she turned 18, I took her myself. That was the greatest day, one of the greatest days of my life. Taking my baby to get registered. It took us maybe 5 minutes. And they do it right there at the poll. She was able to register. She bought her ID. All of y'all should have an ID. Bought her ID. They took her information, registered, voted that same day. So there is really no excuse, honestly, for us not to be registered, because it takes nothing to do it. And register you right there at the poll site. And we got plenty of poll sites. What I'll do to next couple of episodes, if we don't know where your polling site is, we'll make sure we bring that information to and have that so folks will know. But it takes 5 minutes to do it. We have to make sure though we are voting in these off, as they call them, off-season elections, because they put stuff in these elections when they know there's not going to be a high voter turnout. And I say them Republicans, especially in this state, because then they know they can get stuff passed and get stuff over. I was just informed today, there's talk that there is going to be Frank Williams. He said he wondered what I'm registered as. There's talk of a referendum they're trying to put on the ballot for referendum for anti-discrimination. I don't know if you heard that.
Absolutely.
And the way they're wording it will make the person that is not knowledgeable of what it's saying to make you say, "Oh yeah, no, nobody needs to be discriminatory against." And then you vote yes for it, not really knowing what you're voting yes for. And so what I'm hearing is that this referendum that they're trying to get put on the ballot is for the Office of Equity and Inclusion not to be able to file discriminatory charges against certain entities in this state that are charged with looking at Black poverty rates, looking at children that are born early, too soon, things like that, and what goes into child mortality rates. Why is that happening, especially in the Black community? Though, and that was just a few things that I can think off the top of my head that are that they're saying they're trying to get rid of. And if that does pass, now you have no guardrails. If that referendum gets passed, you have no guardrails for us to be able, as a community, to go in and look at these discriminatory practices, redlining, things of that nature. So we have to make sure, again, and we're all in tune of what's going on. Why are they allowed to make the language so confusing? That is a good question. I don't know why that is. I mean, and I fancy myself to be a smart individual, but I had to call, and I actually called Michelle Bryant and asked her about one of the referendums I was on, because the way it was written made it seem, me reading, and I had to read it like 3 or 4 times. Like, what is it saying? It made it seem, and it was the referendum that the school board put on there to give money to more money to MPS.
Mm-hmm.
But the way they framed it on there, when you just read, and I've got the exact wording, you would think, oh, it's all good. This is a really good thing. And it really wasn't, because MPS kind of duped us with that referendum, because they made it seem like if it passed, the MPS would not be having to go under, or their funding would be good, and the kids would be this and they did it, and it wasn't that at all. Because come to find out, after it passed, they came back and asked for more money. Now come they ask for more money. So it's like, reading is fundamental, yes. But if you really reading that stuff and you don't understand it and have a clear understanding of what you're voting for, you're gonna check yes for that stuff. And that's what Republicans do. They bank on us not knowing. And I said the wording on these ballots are very, very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, once I get more information on it, I'm going to make sure we talk about that on this show as well, so that folks will know. But again, primary elections are coming up, so we had to make sure we geared up for that. So I do want to pivot back to a topic we kind of started off on, and that is this administration's attack on Black history. So Jordan, what have you seen that kind of just tease you off, man? What have you seen from this current administration? And I mean Trump administration, that what they're doing, man.
What have I not seen? I mean, there's such a blatant disregard for the law, and that is so detrimental to us, because we are supposed to operate in a law society, right?
Correct.
I think that I just think that overall is that they don't care at all about the constitutional law. He is, and this administration is hell bent on maintaining power and influencing or impacting their will by any means necessary, right? Mm-hmm. I think that is the biggest thing when it comes to one of the things that really irks me is the blatant refusal to acknowledge that history existed and Black history is American history. Mm-hmm. And why there's such a need for that administration to discard that, or to whitewash it, or to come up with something else. The thing that pissed me off just recently, obviously, was around J6. Mm-hmm. And he sent out they posted on the White House's website like a complete fabrication of what happened.
Yes.
Like we didn't see what happened 5 or 6 years ago.
Like the world didn't see that.
So that is distasteful. Mm-hmm. But I think that is their strategy, is we're just going to inundate people with nonsense and non-facts and rewrite this history that meets our needs for what agenda they're trying to push. And if we don't see any resistance to that, we get to what we have. And we have to think about history too. And I'm going to forget this name, but they're top of my head, like the mothers or wives of the Confederacy and all those different things. Yeah. So the playbook that is happening right around, we've seen over and over in history. We've seen after the Civil Rights War, not Civil Rights War, the Civil War, and with Reconstruction, and the opposition and resistance to that. And
start off black codes,
right, all that stuff, right? All of the civil rights movement was resistance. And I hate to say it and bring it back to Obama, but all of this stuff is resentment, and them getting back to what they thought was never supposed to happen.
That's
You know?
how
Right.
was Obama, and that's been verified. People have gone back and traced
That's
doing
right.
with
That's
with,
right.
with because when Obama was elected, that just white folks was pissed
Mad.
because how dare he run? They thought that with Obama they treated other.
Right, and that's that fear of racial resentment. They fear
Yeah.
that once if we assume power, we would treat them the way that they treated us.
Yes, and use the power
Yeah.
how they've used it, and that's not really what just one equality.
Right.
That's why we had the bills that we have. People say, "Well, DEI ain't nothing. They ain't didn't set us back. Integration didn't set us back." I don't think so. I think that we wanted the same rights as everyone else, as the Constitution says. We should have the same rights as everyone. We should be able to drink out of the same water fountain and use the same bathroom amenities and restaurants and stores, things of that nature, just like everyone else. Because our money still spends the same. It doesn't change because it's come out of a black hand.
Right.
Same greenback. So we should be treated as such. And I think that's all we have ever wanted. And that's what brought on a lot of the changes here with regards to civil rights and things of that nature. And it's just horrible, man, what this administration is pulling us back to. They want us to go back to a time where you're white, you're right. And that's just it. And it just sickens me to see so many people align with that in this country. But I would hate for my grandmother to be alive now because she would just be sick to her stomach. She was a civil rights activist. She marched with Father Grappy here in the 70s. Used to come and tell me stories about it. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized, man, y'all was out here doing some stuff, with marching and things of that nature. And it's just to see the progress just be pulled back with the stroke of a pen, man.
Yeah, and it's again, it's intentional. And that's why they're attacking education. That's why they're attacking all these different institutions, because if as an electorate, if we don't know our history, we don't know how to combat what's happening. And that is a strategy on their part to do that. So we just have to be diligent in how we respond to it. We have to just keep emphasizing that we need to know and learn our history. We have to emphasize that, again, Black history, African American history is American history. We have to do our best to combat the lunacy and say, hey, what in what world is having education a detriment to you? In what world does having an understanding of what your ancestry experienced, which led to where we are now? Like, they don't tell the Irish people to forget about Irish history or Italian people to forget about Italian. Hell, they don't even require that the Confederates forget about their history.
Correct.
Right. So, like, why do we have to wholeheartedly disregard our history to make you comfortable? Like that, I just don't understand it.
And I love what you said just a second ago. It's like we are the only race that's asked to do that, because you don't have the Jewish community asked to not talk about the Holocaust. And actually, step further here, the Holocaust is a required subject here in the state of Wisconsin. Required subject. Awful, horrible thing that happened. But guess what? It did not happen in this country, but it is a required studied academic requirement here in this state. But then they try to get rid of, you want to tame down the talk of slavery. There's over 80 items that I've heard this morning the Trump administration is trying to take out of the National African American History Smithsonian there in Washington, D.C. There's 80 items he's trying to remove out of there. They're trying to get talk of slavery to be removed.
As if it didn't exist.
As if it exists. Well, they say, from what they said down in Florida, it was a trades program. Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
And more information I heard this morning, there was 12 states that has now signed on to anti-DEI legislation, and that's trying to get rid of talk of MLK. And I believe one of the states had it where I Have a Dream speech is a required part of their academia, and they have to teach that, learn about it, and do a paper on it, and it has to pass certain things, measure things of that nature. which is, I think that's a great idea to do. But they're trying to get rid of doing that. But for a party that says, and you know, they're Orange Jesus, who I call Trump, for a man who touts, well, you know, I've done more for blacks than any president in the history of this country. But you're trying to steadily take away the mention of one of our icons. MLK, you even took the bust of MLK out of the Oval Office, had it been sitting there for eon, and you moved it somewhere where you can't even, you know, you don't even notice it. It's like, dude. But then you got black folks that's, yeah, he's good for the economy, and we're gonna get a $2,000 stimulus check. And then when they asked him about the stimulus check, he said, "Oh, I said that."
Right. Or if you just look at data and look at outside of the stock market, you know, the economy has done a reversal from where we were at the end of the Biden administration. Like that's why I look at some of those MAGA black people and like you
get it.
You don't get it. Either you're purposely trying to misinform, or you're just not astute enough, which means you're playing, because you can't claim to believe in something and see all data and all facts saying the adverse of what you're saying, and it's ridiculous.
And the sad part is the facts that are there.
Yeah,
everybody got Google now. There should be no way that we are not informed of things, and that's what scares me too. Now that we're still getting misinformed or just not informed, where you got Google, you got everything at your hands,
right.
And you know, but you have the facts that show you that this person is anti people of color, and I'm not just gonna say black. He's anti people of color. What he's doing to the Hispanic community. You got still Latinos for Trump. You know, now they run around mad talking about, oh, well, I don't, you know, I can't believe he did that. He told you what he was going to do.
Yeah, he did.
He literally, hey, they got a 90-page manifesto called Project 2025 that explains list by list what they're going to do. Isn't that what?
900 pages.
900, not 90, 900, excuse me, 900 page.
Yeah.
Manifesto explaining exactly what they were going to do, and they are literally picking off the boxes of everything that's in that book. And I know people say, well, you don't read, we don't want to read. Well, we read what we want to read, but they literally had it out there. They published it for everyone to know. Tommy says, I'm so happy y'all ain't got Orlando sitting in here today. Let's celebrate.
We miss Orlando.
Right, we miss Orlando.
He brings some levity to the conversation.
Yes, he does.
He's not serious about anything he said
at all.
So
at all, and that's what makes me laugh at, you know, Black MAGA, the Black MAGA that we've had here. I don't know if you were here when Travis.
I haven't met Travis yet. Still haven't met you, Travis.
See, Travis out there. You know, that guy will come in and just say stuff on top of his head, like, man, you don't believe that.
Well, I think Orlando
entrenched in it. Yeah, he was, because he can even say, he even said, you know, hey, you worked for Senator Ron Johnson, who's one of the worst senators in the Senate right now, to me. But he actually does. He actually works for him. I'll give him that. You know, he said he worked for him. Cool.
Yeah.
But but it's just this administration's constant attack on Black history is just horrid, man. And we're sitting here watching it. It's like every day there's something they're attacking. There's something they're pulling out. There's something they're trying to do that attacks our history, and it's just horrible. And the reason why we're talking about this again, because MLK Day, and I just like to highlight that stuff. And just if he was here, he would have celebrated 97 years on this earth. And I put a post up on his birthday. If he were here, what would he have thought about this current administration? What would he see us as a people right now? All the strides that he made, that movement. What would his thoughts be right now as us as a people? Where are we at?
I think he would say that this administration is an affront to humanity, period. They have no humanity. They have no empathy. They have no regard for human life unless you are rich or of a certain class. And I think that if there's anything they are honest about, that is it. They are about the dollar, and racism and sexism and, you know, all those things.
The dollar for them.
So that's the biggest piece. It just no regard for human life at the expense of us, basically. And I don't have another way to say it, because you see in their behavior, you see in how they allow unconstitutionally, may I add, they allow for ICE and federal agents to come into these communities and completely just antagonize the people. I think I heard a stat out there that there's like roughly 70% of the people that they've hemmed up in Minnesota, or in general, not Minnesota, but 70% of them have no criminal records, right? The whole point of this advancement for them was to say we're going to clean the streets of criminal activity and criminal illegal aliens, and we're not doing that.
You want people's jobs.
Yeah,
people that are working. So you got criminals. These hardened criminals is working at Home Depot, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Working the job. Like you say, they out here trying to feed their families.
And I love what they do, because when they're doing this, they're able to then go back to their base and say, you see, y'all, we clean up the street. You see all these protests. You see what we're doing? We're actually doing something. And they're not. They're making it. They're doing these things under the guise of saying, this is our immigration policy. And it's not even policy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even tell you what their immigration policy is, other than we just rounding up folks and we deporting them back. But you're deporting, or you're rousing up folks that, like you said, are law-abiding citizens.
Yeah,
that are doing nothing to harm anybody. You go into people. You got people that are scared sending their children to school because you have ICE running up in schools. They running up in churches. And I saw a video on TikTok. It had this priest, a Catholic priest. He almost cussing them, the ICE agents out, like, y'all not coming in this church.
Mm-hmm.
Well, these people are my parishioners. You're not coming here gathering them up. This is not the place for that. So y'all doing all this stuff, knocking down doors. With your little cowboy hats and masks on, like this is the Wild Wild West. Like y'all doing something. Y'all wouldn't dare come in these other communities and do that. It's like, man, it's horrid.
But I think what we are seeing though is resistance from those communities, especially when we look at Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I think what they thought was going to happen was that they're going to force them into fear and hiding.
Mm-hmm.
And they've seen the opposite, which is a testament to that community, but it's also a testament to like us as a country. We have to resist what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because what they hope is going to happen is that we are going to cower behind a rock and just allow them to run over us foot and mouth, right? And I think if we don't figure out a way that how do we combat that aggressively, then it happens. Like nothing changes without resistance,
right?
Like, and we have to combat it with as much power as we can.
Okay, somebody got a comment here. JC Rumley. Oh yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? Sorry, JC. I'm gonna get back to you because I definitely finna handle that real quick.
They popping in the question.
Yeah, they popping in. Nick, my buddy Nick says, "Hey Nick, thank you again, Nick Wrestler, who's an avid Democrat, and I thank you for joining us this evening." It says, "Never mind. Economists saying that if the White House did issue 2,000 stimulus checks to every U.S. taxpayer, it would ultimately crash the economy. More importantly, the notion of sanitizing the official government websites proves the argument that if one doesn't learn from history, we are doomed to repeat it."
Yep.
Yes. All right, JC. I love this one. How is it racism currently? How has racism affected your life? Obama sent more people back with this criminal code 8 USC 1325 is a criminal offense. Same policy Obama used. I myself, a black man, didn't say anything when Obama did the same thing. Please have proof, sirs, he says. And then the second comment, it wouldn't come to other communities because the Democrats sent them to our communities. Do research before talking about the topics, please. So, sir, first and foremost, this show is called Facts Over Feelings for a reason, because we're not just taking stuff out of our ass and talking about it. We're talking these things because they are actual facts. Now, yes, you are right. Obama did use, and he did deport more folks during his time period in office, but he did it the legal way.
So, yeah, I think that I was just reading about this other day, too, talking about facts. We actually read and study these issues. So
look at the code, please. Yes, you see the code. I know. I'm in office. I know the code.
Obama actually, they used to call him the immigration office. What do they call him? The deporter in chief. Deporter in chief.
Yeah. He did it the legal way.
Right. He did it the legal way. So there's some number out there that he deported over 3 million illegal immigrants. But when you look at the actual types of people. They were actually looking at people who were doing criminal activity,
Yes.
illegally crossing the border. And then what they actually did was they deported them, but they also said, here is a way for you to get back in. That is the process that we need to follow. So it wasn't just, hey, we're going to deport you like Trump is doing and taking these people and putting them in Bolivia or Venezuela or putting them in slavery camps all over the world because of whatever that they don't even belong to.
Correct.
There is a huge right
of the illusion.
And I think the biggest part is that he wasn't unconstitutionally targeting them and
pull up that code once.
Yeah, he wasn't unconstitutionally violating their rights, and that is the biggest thing here. Correct. Again, we have a lawless administration who are out here.
Supreme Court that's also allowing this to happen. See, and I love how y'all invoke Obama. So we're going to go back to Obama. First, Obama was a lawyer, so he knows the law.
Constitutional law. I believe he was the law review, the editor of the Harvard Law Review.
Correct. So he's a Harvard Rhodes Scholar, educated.
I don't think he was a Rhodes Scholar.
He wasn't a Rhodes Scholar. I think he was a Rhodes Scholar. So. Okay, he's a Harvard educated individual with a degree from Harvard Law School. Okay, so he knew the law backwards and forwards, especially when it comes to Constitution. Did you pull that? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Frank says we did slavery camps too. Oh yeah, that was done here. Yeah, especially with again, I'm not going to shy away from what this country has done. We had, yeah. So are we? Yeah, JC Rumley, I do want you to comment further here. Are you advocating for this immigration or what's going on here? I'm trying to get your. Okay, he said, how isn't Trump using the code? It's illegal to cross the border. Illegally, you're not allowed to come to the country. You don't have constitutional rights as an illegal immigrant.
Well, you actually, once you step foot and you're in this country, you actually do have a constitutional right to due process. So again, just because you're not from this country, you may not have all access to every single constitutional right that Americans have, but you do have what is called due process. So once you're over here, you have to be treated with fairness and treated in a humane way.
I mean, both the president and the vice president of this country both have wives that are not from this country. So so if anybody's illegal, I think it would be, we could start with them and then just start ejecting them first and to see how that goes over. But again, JC, I would love for you to comment here. It says not at all, but just because you come to the country does mean you have the same rights. Again, I need you to answer our question as well. Are you advocating for Trump's current immigration policy, or where you at? Are you just trying to play devil's advocate? And Frank here, you said we did slavery camps too. When you say we, are you talking about this country, or when you say we, can you? Yeah, I don't think Frank is a Republican. I don't believe he is. But yeah, Frank, if you can comment there, just expound a little bit more on your comment. Right. This is why I say that baffles me with, and I don't know, Jason, I don't know your ethnic background, I don't know if you're black or whatever, but here we are. Okay, so it says here's a plain language breakdown of 8 USC 1325, Obama era versus Trump era deportation practices, because the law itself didn't change much, and how it was enforced. Let me get to it. Let me open it up. There it is. Okay, so it says same law, different intent. Obama used discretion and treated immigration primarily as a civil issue. Trump used 1325 as a mass criminal tool, fundamentally changing the experience of migrants at the border. So that's the difference there. And it says Biden's approach kind of compares to both. Biden did deport some individuals as well, but again, using the same methods that Obama did, which is using the
Yeah.
law lawfully and not just breaking down folks like we in the Wild Wild West and just saying, hey. And then also we got a Supreme Court who's just recently said that it's okay to discriminatory just go attack folks because you think that they're Hispanic or they talking Hispanic. That law just came down. But
Right.
again, as people of color, this is not the fight that we need to be having. You know, we can't be just sitting back and say, well, it ain't me, it's them. They coming after us too. That's just, this is called a precursor.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's coming. Detainment camps isn't a civil issue. I'm playing devil's advocate and I'm a conservative, 100% black. So, okay. Oh Lord. Whew, okay. Didn't change. Obama put kids in cages. My friend Trump is using the law. Lord Jesus Christ. You're 100% black man in here. See, this is stuff that pisses me off. You're 100% black man, yet you are okay with supporting an administration that is, like we just said at the opening, that you are okay with supporting an administration that's every day taking a piece of your history and making it so where it's worth whitewash. He says, how are they coming after us? Please tell me. Oh, they're coming. They are coming.
Well, how are they coming after us? Do you not have you ever heard of stop and frisk?
There we go.
Which was deemed unconstitutional all over the country. Like again, they say stuff and it proves to me, like, we get into these arguments and back and forth with people. I'm like, you're not read enough to have the conversation, right? Because you're just saying stuff to be a devil's advocate or to push some narrative, and it doesn't make sense. So as a community, we have to know the difference between all these different things. There is an abstract difference between acting like people who have been a part of this country for a long.
I see that.
Sure, whatever.
Come on, I mean, we didn't had.
Yeah.
You be the third black man on the show. So we ain't not adverse to having your own, but again, just know when you come on here, you know, talking in the circles and talking stupid, you're gonna get checked on it. So I'm just saying. So you can come on, but just know, you know, come with your facts and come correct. But just know, you coming on here, we're gonna be going back and forth because this is not gonna be the segment where you just come in.
You need a vetting process for people because we just can't let everybody in here talking.
You're just gonna come in here and just spew bullshit,
right?
And then we
right.
just, you know, that's not the show is called Facts Over Feelings for a reason. And sir, it sounds, Mr. J, it seems like you have more feelings into it than facts, and that's a lot of what Black MAGA does because you have not said one fact to us. You just cited some codes that's already out there that Obama using, Trump using, and how they're both using it is wrong. Well, excuse me, how Trump is using it is wrong.
And then lastly, I think to this is to put a pin in it is like, what's your solution, right? We acknowledge that illegal immigration is a problem. No one in this seat is saying, no Democrat is saying that illegal immigration is not a problem.
Correct.
The solution though is how do we create a comprehensive immigration system that is going to do two different things. That's going to deal with the legal or the immigrants who are here now, who are working and a part of the daily fabric of this country, contributing to our society, paying taxes. We keep forgetting about that they actually are paying in a system and not getting any reciprocal return from it, right? So we have to deal with those people who are already here, and then we have to deal with an asylum system or those immigrants who are trying to get here. What is the legal recourse, or what is the legal action or pathway for them to enter this country, right? And I believe that there was comprehensive reform for that, and it was objected by a political party on the right because they wanted to push a political agenda.
Correct.
So you can't keep arguing and complaining about this issue that is non-factual, first of all, and then saying that, well, we're not going to do anything because that's what we get today. We get lawlessness, we get chaos, and we get a bunch of people running rogue, which is really upsetting a lot of people and hurting American citizens at the end of the day.
Correct. And that's how we get, as we've seen in Minnesota, the woman that got shot, you know, in her face.
An American citizen who was there protesting on behalf of ICE coming in there and illegally detaining American citizens. And you have American citizens that got shot in her face, killed.
unalived in front of people, in front of her kids not have to see that. So this is what you have. And it's funny to me, sir, Mr. J, that your party, is making all of a sudden this immigration issue when you had the opportunity to fix the issue.
Mm-hmm. Had a bill on the table
that your party, sir, that your party and the Democratic Party at the time in Congress both worked together to craft, and it had more conservative leaning things in that bill than ever. They said that was one of the most conservative bills, immigration bills in a century. So you had the bill teed up and ready to go to fight this problem that you claiming that you all have, and you did nothing to do it. You did nothing about that. You made your Orange Jesus told you all not to vote for the bill because you wanted to make it an issue. He's on tape saying this. This is what pisses me off about y'all, because now you're talking about now it's this big issue and it's all, and it's not. If it's that big of an issue, you had a chance to take care of it in Congress to make it law, and you didn't do it.
Yep. And let's lastly, let's localize it. What's going to happen when ICE and comes to Milwaukee or comes to the state of Wisconsin and the mass that they are? Who do you think they're going to target? What areas do you think they're going to be in? Right? We are going to be the frontline people who are going to be impacted by all of this chaos in this community. And my fear is that we're not going to have enough people who are going to stand up against it. And it's just going to happen. So it's inevitable. He's already precursing that this is going to happen in states that didn't go for him and cities that didn't go for him. We have a black-led city with a black mayor, and we are anti-Trump, I would say, right?
Yeah.
So this is one of the cities that he's targeting.
Correct.
So we have to be aware of that. And for you, Frank, or whatever his name is, what are you going to do when ICE is in your neighborhood?
No, not Frank, Jay.
I'm sorry.
JC Rumley.
What are you going to do when ICE is in your neighborhood? When ICE is antagonizing you and your family? When ICE is at your kids, if you have kids, at their schools, obstructing schools and trying to get in there illegally? What's going to happen when they're charging into your churches, into your libraries, into your grocery stores, and pulling people out because they think that they look? I'm half Puerto Rican or a quarter Puerto Rican, but I could be, even though they don't know Puerto Rican. And that's what right. That's what's happening. So we have to be aware of that, and we just have to stop with this nonsense and saying that it's not possible that it happen here. It can definitely happen.
And when it does come here, look where they're gonna go. Like he just said, they're not gonna go in River Hill.
Nope.
They're not gonna go in Brookfield. Not gonna go in Waukesha. They're not gonna go Lakeshore Drive. They're coming into the inner city of Milwaukee, specifically probably the south side.
Yep.
And in here
in the north side.
And the north side. That's where they're coming. So all this, and then here you go with that bullshit again, talking about they dumped them into our communities. Who's dumping who, what, where? What are you talking about? That's false. And then you're talking about Chicago.
Well, stuff. I actually wish this guy was here now. Because my first question would be, I'm going to give you the argument for the sake of this. They're dumping them into the communities. Let's take a step back and add some context to that. Sir, why are they dumping them into this community? First of all, so just real quickly, we do have a very agricultural state where we do a lot of farming and whatnot, right? Mm-hmm. There are large organizations and companies who are recruiting and bringing in these illegal aliens to pay them cheaply or under the table for their services to provide us food and to keep our cost of living as low as it can be, right? So systemically, if you're going to say they're dumping them into our communities, the question has to be why, and then what's the solution for that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like they had they chartered buses from Texas and planes from Texas, taking those individuals that they rounded up and they started dumping, and they were dumping, and that was Republicans, were dumping them into liberal-led cities that had liberal mayors. They were doing that on purpose. It was your party doing that, man.
Yeah. And overwhelmingly, majority of those immigrants who come to this country, again, are non-criminal, non-violent offenders.
Correct.
They're coming in to work to support their families. Is there a fraction, a small fraction of them who come in and who are doing things illegally?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you were going to make the case that ICE was targeting those people specifically, we would have no problem. But that is not the case. So that's where we have to get an understanding, clear understanding for that. Oh yeah, all that stuff.
And that's what they do. Nick Ressler says, as a disabled person who is the son of a woman who was descended from Jews, this is terrifying. I'm literally part of the first group rounded up in Germany 80 years ago. Let's pay attention to, frankly, where we've been, where we are, and where we're headed. Should we do nothing? And Jay here, he says the reason why we know about ICE doing their job is because the media telling people is wrong. Legal immigration, I'm all for it, but when you dump them into our communities, have a problem. Again, that's a trumped up issue that y'all doing. That your party is doing again to make it seem like it's something big. You literally chartered buses, you round up these folks, you chartered buses, you put them on buses, and you throw them into these cities that are led by liberal mayors, and then say, "Oh, people are flooding. They're flooding your cities." Yes, because you dumped them there, literally. Yeah. Frank Williams says, "My county supervisor ran for state assembly as an independent. She lost and held her supervisor's seat. Y'all trying to help me take her spot again?"
And who is that?
Yeah, Frank said he's an independent.
Wait, yeah. Frank is running for a seat right now?
Frank Williams, that's what he's saying. They insurance
is he on the ballot?
Have you made the ballot yet, Frank? Or anything? Right. Are you getting there?
Or he's running for state assembly, so he's in the partisan election, August and
yeah.
What district?
State assembly. Yeah. What district you running in, Frank? And again, if you you want to come on here and talk about it, okay. You want to come on here again? I need to get you on here anyway because I need folks to understand insurance. I do want to talk about that because I think it's highly needed. How is my party? Because they told them they're sanctuary cities. What? JC, how is it my party? Because they told them they're sanctuary. Yeah. I don't know what you mean by that, bro.
I would ask for Jay to go back and look up what actually a sanctuary city is and what it means, and then how we are adhering to that. And that will really help you answer your own question, because what you're doing now is you're just spewing talking points that are coming out from one side of the party that is getting us derailed in an actual conversation around facts.
Yes.
So do your research. We welcome you to have the conversation, but if you're not going to come prepared with actual facts and contextualize what you're talking about, then we're going to treat you like we're treating you, which is get a life.
Yeah, right. We skipping over. Yeah, bro. we skipping over you. I don't even know where he came from. Well, I guess it is. It is a public thing, Florida. We're public, but I don't know where. Who knows, JC? Anybody knows where he came from? I don't know where he came from, Mr. Rumbling. Yeah, bless your heart. As my grandma would say, she was here. Bless your heart, bless your heart. And Jay says he has considered. Yeah, if Frank again, excuse me. He says he's considered. So again, if you want to come in and I'll call you later on in the week. We can discuss what you're trying to do, and then we can definitely get you on. I don't think my co-host will have a problem with that. As long as you come, I think Frank's gonna come correct because Frank is a good dude. I don't know. Now he definitely ain't on the MAGA stuff.
Yeah. And there's room to have a conservative point of view. Again, it needs to be rooted in facts, and it needs to be solution focused and based, right? How are we going to take your conservatism and liberalism, progressivism, and create solutions that is going to move this city and this country forward?
Nick Ressler also, there was a comment. He said, regardless of what anyone might believe about the man's previous policy positions, can we please give former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura props for coming to his former high school, Minneapolis Roosevelt, to support the students and faculty for standing up to occupation by ICE. Ventura was also a Navy SEAL who did 18 months in Vietnam across 2 tours. Whatever you might feel about the man, he was completely accurate in everything he said recently. Yeah, I did see that.
I think you're going to see more conservatives come out against a lot of this stuff, especially as we get closer to the midterm election.
Yep.
Because we talk around the social impact of what it means for communities, but there's a whole political conversation that is happening above us and under us, right? So when you look at where Trump is and administration is going into a midterm election, the potential of him being a lame duck president over the next 2 years, the potential of us the Democratic Party taking control of at least the House, maybe the Senate. when you have some balance and branches of the separation of powers, you're going to see a political calculus by these people who are going to be looking out for their own political interests.
Yes.
They want to stay in office. They want to retain their own power. So they're going to have to change and adapt to the political climate and figure out a way that they can gain the trust of their constituency back, because this MAGA thing it's imploding in front of us right now.
I'm deleting. I want to delete his comment so bad. No, this JC man.
Is he being disrespectful?
He's just talking stupid. I don't like stupidity. I have I have a low tolerance for that. Again, you got to come with something. Nick Russell says again, it says we were talking about dropping people from Brownsville and other border cities in Texas, Arizona, and other southern states, and dropping them in New York, Chicago, and the District of Columbia. That's the only dumping of anyone anywhere in the country. Again, by the Republican Party. They are on tape and on file for actually doing that. But then this is what really gets me. But then we go over and take either 2 planes and go over to South Africa and get white South Africans and bring them over here because they've been kicked off of land that they oppressed other South Africans, black South Africans, to obtain. This goes back all the way to Nelson Mandela when
before Nelson Mandela,
and I think the process before then, and then he carried it on that y'all don't sell the land, y'all got to get up off here. Gotta get off here. So you got Mr. White Jesus, Orange Jesus, authorizes this government, taxpayer funds at that, to get planes to get them from over there and bring them over here and set them up. That's okay for the white South Africans to get set up over here illegally. But people of color, we have just a major problem with that who aren't doing anything to me wrong. They just come over here for a better life. Because that is what the U.S. has always been about. That's what people look at us as getting that second chance to come over here and make things right for themselves, to leave places that are run by tyrants and dictators and living in just the most cruel type of conditions one could imagine. That shouldn't be a problem. But we have no problem. We stay quiet, Mr. Black, 100% black man on here. We're quiet about that. That's okay to get the white South Africans over here, again, using taxpayer money to set them up. But we have a problem with brown folks coming over here. That's bolstering our economy at that too, because they pay into these things. That's okay. Yeah. Get out of here. Told you, I tell you, black MAGA gets on my nerves.
It gets you all flustered.
They do, man. They do. They just get me. It gets me frustrated, man. Because I just look at just where we are as a people. Like we don't got time for that. Like we need to be all, as my nephew, my little 8-year-old nephew said, we need to be all locked in right now. Like seriously, we need to be locked in step with each other. And Iran.
Look,
I saw that. I saw that.
I mean, they're just talking to. I mean,
yeah, they just not. I don't think they pose a credible threat.
We got that, but again, it's just like what happened in Venezuela. Like you got Maduro, but his entire administration is still there.
Correct.
So they haven't really changed the oppressive system that Venezuela is in. What they've only done was they've installed a puppet in there who's going to do the will of another dictatorial narcissist and us who's calling the shots over there now. So if that were to happen, it won't happen. But if it were to happen, then we have JD Vance who will step in, and he is a corporatist and a puppet as well. But I think he is even more dangerous than Trump because he has shown that Trump is just flying off the top of his head.
Cunning.
JD Vance is the institutional power behind the presidency, and he has that power infrastructure lined up to support him. So getting him in there, and because he's smart, he actually knows what he's talking. Well, he doesn't know what he's talking about, but he's able to articulate and he's able to navigate and seem like he's doing it. So I think that he's even more dangerous And then Trump is again a means to an end for the conservative party.
Yeah.
He is really just rubber stamping their entire agenda right now.
Correct.
And we have to deal with his personality and all his flaws. But he again is just a puppet of what the institutional powers are dictating right now. But hey, I still won't mind to see him gone.
Right. Dude in the red sweater. Yeah, can you delete this bad comments? Like now he said I'm weird. Yeah. All right. And so is a person and a black person back in the. Mhm. Yeah. This person? Oh. Okay. With everything. Okay. You just have no.
Yeah,
life.
we just how we get rid of them is just ignore the fuck out of them.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. You just dude. Yeah. Black MAGA are married to being trolls. They just stick to the contrary to keep the argument brewing.
At their own expense.
I have to learn to use my emotional intelligence when discussing topics. Yeah. And again, Tommy, I know you said this, bro. I want you on. If we just got to be just the three of us and no Republicans, I'll take that. But I want you on, man. So again, keep thinking about it. But I do want you on. But it's just spits in the face of what we're doing as a people and what our history again is under attack like this. That just gets to me when I see stuff like that. It just that just gets me going at times. It's just stupid, and I'm like, this is why.
Yeah,
y'all have no rhyme or reason. But if I woke up and saw that and that they got Trump, like Jordan said, what we left with is just worse. And I look at when I watched his debate with who was the vice presidential running mate?
Vance?
No, not Vance.
For
us. Walz.
Oh yeah, Tim Walz.
I watched those debate, and Vance was up there. He's talked so eloquent. I never championed that. I don't know. What do you mean? I never said that. Well, that's not what this is saying. That's not what. And like he said, he frames it so eloquently where you would think, oh yeah, he's right. You're
sounds right. Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. So he's worse than Trump. He's worse than Trump. And honestly, that whole cabinet, everybody just need to go.
Yeah.
Everybody need to go. Need to impeach everybody and get everybody up out of there. Because what we left with is going to be 10 times worse. I hear on if y'all listen to Sirius XM 126 Urban View, they have a name for him, and they call him Junior Varsity Vance. You listen to Steve Dr. Carr.
Dr. Carr, yep.
On Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays,
6 to 9.
6 to 9. He has a name for Vance, and they call him Junior Varsity Vance. And that's just hilarious to me. But that's he's definitely no better. He's actually worse if we were to get him in there. And like I said, we woke up and I don't think Iran's going to do it. If we woke up and that happened, I would be totally shocked. I would be totally shocked. And that, like watching January 6th live, I was literally at home working remote that day. And I just happened to watch, just turn on something. I was still watching MSNBC at the time. And, you hear all that talk around, the count and all that. And I'm like, I've never sat and watched those proceedings before. I said, you know what? Since they televising it, I'm going to turn it on. And sitting there and watch all that, man, I was like, whoa. I had called it. I didn't think I would ever see it, but to actually see that happen in real time, I have the same feeling that we woke up and they said they came over here and got Trump. Be hilarious. He said when they're extreme like that, they're usually fake profiles. Yeah. He ain't a fake profile though, because Tay just told us he's very argumentative. Yeah. And make sure I got all. Make sure I got all the comments here. I think we did. So yeah, again, Frank, if you're serious about it, me and you can rap. We can get you on. You can come through, man. I would love to sit with you and rap with you, other than talking about insurance. But I would love to hear your perspective. Nick Wrestler says, I heard an independent Canadian journalist recently put it this way: the 25th Amendment accomplishes nothing except replacing an insane fascist with the sane fascist. What we need to do is focus on Article 2, Section 4, where any member who has aided and abetted crimes can be removed from office, including cabinet officials, Supreme Court justices. Yeah, because we got a complicit Supreme Court man that's just
yeah. So I don't think that they'll necessarily be able to do anything to the Supreme Court. Those roles are protected.
Yeah.
But what I do think is going to happen, again, if we assume power, is that all of those people who aren't protected by the executive authority, what is it called? What is
executive immunity? Is that
something like that? Whatever Trump has that he's absolved from any crime while in office.
Yeah.
No other person in administration is.
Nope.
So I think you're going to see, just like we saw in his last administration, many people who were holding these offices, doing a lot of these illegal things, going and being held accountable through the judicial system, the legal system, for the crimes that they committed while they were in these offices.
Yep.
And we're going to see it from the top, starting out with Noam and maybe Vance. Vance is probably not good, but Noam for sure.
Definitely.
Pam Bondi, Kash Patel. Like, we're going to see a lot of these high profile leaders in these offices who are going to be investigated and most likely indicted for some of these things that they're doing while they're in office.
And they need to make sure that when that happens, I know they say the wheels of justice turn slow, but I honestly believe, and this goes back to when Biden was in office and you had the Attorney General, Merrick Garland. He moved too slow.
Yeah, he moved
terrible
Attorney General.
Too slow. Yeah. Because, bro, them indictments should have went out day 2 of you getting in office. You should have been rolling that stuff out right then and there.
Well, and that's if there's any critique, and I have critiques of Biden, but I think that Biden was too safe and too political and too diplomatic and in the same sense, Obama was the same way. I think he had a little more political capital behind him, but Biden's whole role was, I'm trying to bring unity back to this, and I'm not going to upset those who should have been put through the full course of the law and brought to justice when they were in. So that is absolutely a failure, I would say, on the Biden administration, is that they didn't go far enough in holding these people accountable for the transgressions that they did.
Yeah, that should have been like at least by, I said day 2, at least that by day 3, y'all should have got them indictments ready and rolling. And start issuing them. And it's funny to me now, we see I don't know if it's true or not. I have a smart app on my phone called Smart News. It has a plethora of different news junctions that come through there. I just saw where they're trying to subpoena Hillary and Bill Clinton.
They have
subpoenaed them,
and they wrote a letter.
But I saw that they're not going to go forward with appearing.
And
it's funny, well, we're going to go invest in. But when you had, was it 20 individuals that did not come to subpoenas for Congress that was subpoenaed for the January 6th? You had a lot, I believe it was 20 individuals that just ignored it. Ignored the subpoenas. Ignore the subpoenas. Frank Williams says, I don't think Biden was actually running the country. I can't be wrong, but I feel like Kamala was. He didn't just get that messed up overnight. He wasn't messed up. That was the news.
Nah, if you actually read Kamala's book, you would know that Biden was actually running. Actually, his team, whatever you want to say about that, but Biden was in control of the administration.
He was.
To a point. I don't think that they gave Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris, enough autonomy to lead some of the initiatives that they had.
Correct. And what she got stuck with, she may do with it, but I think they should have made her a more leading voice with certain topics. And I think, a little bit more exposure to her probably could have did her better when she eventually became the nominee, because you had too many people asking, well, who is she? Why is she? What does she run? And blah, 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 all that crazy stuff. Which you got Google. You can just Google her name. It tells you everything about her that you need to know, especially to be an informed voter. But yeah, had they just, I think, given her just a little bit more stuff to do. But again, that's just the role of the vice president. You work at the behest of the president. And just, that's how the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. So Frank says that's why she lost. I think that was some of the factors, just not enough recognition. But I just think she didn't have enough time to. From the time she did have the campaign that she ran, I think it was amazing. But I think she had just a little bit more time to mount a real a credible campaign, I think she would have did it. Here we are. So we get ready to wrap. I do want to talk about one and to bring this great news that I have to tell everyone. So I have I had a chance encounter walking through Mayfair on some humbug stuff. I wasn't supposed to be in Mayfair that day. I was riding past. Actually, my daughter has moved out in that area, and I was coming from her apartment, riding past Mayfair, and something said, "I think you need a Cinnabon." I said, "Oh, okay." So I go into Mayfair and go get my Cinnabon, and I'm walking around, and I ran into County Executive David Crawley in the Cinnabon line. And that is too funny. And people, if you watched this recently and watched my episodes, I've been asking, how do I get in touch with his office? Because I want him on the show.
Like divine intervention.
It was divine intervention. I was on some humbug stuff and ran into him. We talked. His wife tells me, and when I tell her about the show, his wife says, "Oh, your name is Alden Higgins." I said, "My name is Alden Higgins on Facebook, but my name is Dorian." She says, "Oh, I've seen your show." I said, "What?" His wife said, "Yeah, I've seen your show. It came across my YouTube. I was on YouTube." She said it came up. She said, "I watched a couple of your episodes." She said, I like what you talk about in some of your topics." I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, whoa. So again, we began to talk, and I told Mr. County Executive, I said, "Hey, sir, I would really love to have you on the show. I know that you are running for governor in this election cycle, and I would love to have you on to talk about your views and your campaign." And he gave me his number, and me and him talked a couple of times and reached out. I didn't hear anything back. And then by intervention again, I see him at Evolve. I was at Evolve this past Sunday and saw him in the hallway as we were leaving Evolve. And I said, "Hey, man, just want to let you know, no one has reached out yet." He said, "Oh, okay, got you." And then literally Monday, I got a call from his campaign, and he will be on the show next week, Tuesday.
Yeah.
I got him confirmed. Yes.
Mr. County Executive.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mr. County Executive is coming on Facts Over Feelings next week, Tuesday, to talk about his gubernatorial campaign and what he brings to this city and what he will bring to the state as governor. And again, I've already put my hat in the ring for him. I am going all in on Mr. David Crawley right here and right now. Once again, I think he would be a wonderful governor. I think what he brings to what he can bring to the state will be just great. So I'm putting myself in his bandwagon right now today.
But that doesn't mean that we don't want to hear from all your other candidates.
Correct. And
Yeah.
if we have any other candidates for governor that would like to come on and talk and use this platform, come on in. But I'm Team Crawley right now. I don't know, Jordan. I don't know if you made a guess yet, but I don't know. I know we got a plethora of candidates running.
Yeah, I support. I think that there are a lot of great candidates out there. I probably lean to Crawley. I would say that right now.
Okay.
But I think we have to let this primary process play out.
Yeah.
And I think
Got
we
so many people
need to
here.
hear from each of the candidates.
Yeah.
We need to hear what their plans are for this city, for this state.
Mhm.
And then let the chickens fall where they. Am I saying that? Let the
chips fall where they may?
chickens.
He said
Let the
chickens.
chips fall where they may, right? So we're happy and glad to see that County Executive Crawley is coming on. But again, like, I want to hear from everybody.
Yeah.
I want to hear from you, Mandela.
Yeah,
I want
I'm
to
gonna
hear
put
from
this
you,
out there. I'm gonna say,
Francesca. Yeah, I want to hear from all
Mandela
you guys.
vibes, come on through. Madam Lieutenant Governor Rodriguez, come on through.
Yeah.
We would love to just hear from you, just have a frank conversation. But have a frank conversation about the issues and again what you're running on. I think you guys say you want to talk to the common man. This is a perfect platform to do that because we have a lot of common folks that watch every Tuesday. So we got a little bit of a following here. So again, any other candidate that's running, come on through. We would love to. We would love to have you. We'd love to have you on. Again, Crawley is coming next week. Mandela, I'm putting that out there. Anybody knows or has any way into Mandela's campaign, to get a hold of him, tell him he's got an open invite here to come on through and let's talk about some issues. Tommy says chicken can work just like chips.
Thank you.
My sister Tanya says it's wonderful that David Crowley is coming on your show. Totally agree. Yeah.
Wait, is that Thomas? Is that my fraternal brother bond there?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You get a
Okay.
little shout out.
Yeah, I ran into him at the MLK breakfast. I just put it together, that the two piece together. So 06, go bro.
Yeah. And that's exactly what he did too. That's exactly what he put on there. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, you guys, please tune in next week. This is something I've been working on for the longest. I was just ecstatic. I had to tell the man, I'm so sorry, man. I'm nervous. And I saw him at Cinema because I just wasn't expecting that at all. To run into him. And he run into him twice at that. And he even said when I saw him at Evolve, he said, nobody reached out to you yet, man. I said, no. I said, that is your number I was texting. He was like, yeah, that's me. He was like, I gave the information over and nobody said come. He said, no. I said, no. He said, okay, I got it. And literally the next day, they called me on King Day. As I was chillaxing at the crib. So I thank the campaign for reaching out and making this possible. So again, everybody, please tune in next week. Tay's gonna make some wonderful flyers. She showed me some artwork and things and designs she's coming up with. So this is going to be great.
Yeah,
y'all, please tune in, spread the word. Next week we're gonna have a Stara in here with us next week. And to close this out, it says Nick Bressler says definitely a Crawley backer himself. He says I may also have a suggestion for who should be secretary of the Department of Corrections under a Crawley administration. So I can't talk about that because I am a employee of the Department of Corrections, so I can't say that. But you say that, Nick. That's cool for you to speak on that. Yeah, I can't speak on none of that. You know, I do like this current secretary. I've met him, really nice guy. But yeah, so you got anything you want to close with, Jordan, or we good?
Yeah, we're good. I may have an announcement for you guys in the next couple of weeks here.
Okay.
So
announcements.
Yeah, we are. We'll wait a couple of weeks for it. So.
Okay, cool. I'm honored. I do love that this platform is now the place for announcing runs for elected offices, man. I mean, hey, we yeah, it emerged. Yeah, we have, because how we started and what we started talking about in the subjects of things and where we're at now is totally different. And I'm glad we did kind of pivot to where we're at. I'm glad for it because anybody that knows me knows I love politics. I've been a student of it since I was 8 or 9. You know, I've just loved this realm. People always say, want to run for it. I don't have the stomach to run for it, but I would love. But who?
I said I may have an announcement in a couple.
Okay. Is it somebody says hold on one more thing. Tommy says I'm unsure of who I want to support right now. That's why I asked the question earlier. Great y'all having them come on the live. Yeah. And Frank said we ain't stupid. we know. But yeah, so from where we started at, man, it'd be a year in March.
Yeah.
I am really grateful for this. Again, Tay, I can't thank you enough for giving me this platform. I never aspired to be an actual podcaster. I've always wanted to be on a political show. And she came up with
your own political show.
Right, and now I got my own show.
Yeah.
So I'm just grateful for it. I love doing this. This is fun to be people ask, why?
This is great.
You love it? I do. I love doing this stuff.
And
this is fun.
It's a need for the community. We always talk about, the need to having people who look like us having these conversations, because these conversations are being had in households all across this country and all across the city. We just have to put it in a platform so that we can have people and invite guests in who know what they're talking about, so that we can inform and educate the constituents so they can make informed decisions and vote in their best interest. So I think that's why even being asked to be a part of this, I typically don't get involved in a lot of these different things. People who know my background know that I do service and work around politics and policy in the community. But these platforms for me are usually like just a bunch of hyperbole. But I think this is a great platform to educate. And if we can continue to get people to tune in and ask the questions, and even Jay, this is opportunity for us to educate him on stuff that he clearly doesn't know.
Clearly.
So I appreciate this as a platform. I appreciate you guys as well. Thank you.
Yeah. So with that, we're going to close, guys. See you all next week. Be blessed. Stay safe. And y'all stay warm, because we in the Wisconsin and it's got some polar vortex stuff coming through from what I'm reading the next couple of days. So y'all, please stay warm and check on your elders and seniors and things of that nature. Those of that may be living by themselves and not having anybody come check on them. Make sure y'all checking on them, especially in this cold weather. We want to make sure we're doing that right. He said we need another voice from our frat brother, other than Dr. Ken Harris. Yeah, I was listening to Ken.
Leave Dr. Ken alone.
I was listening to Ken, and I listened to Dr. Ken for a minute on 101.7.
He's good.
I listened to him. And he's, I don't know, is he a true all the way conservative, or he's just
definitely a conservative?
Okay,
but if you get to know, because he's a fraternity brother of mine, we like to hear ourselves talk. So, but he has an interesting perspective, and I think it's a perspective that even us liberals and progressives don't necessarily always think about. Sometimes he's not as I don't know, polite when he says it, but he has an interesting perspective. So he's definitely somebody that I value. I've learned a lot in the last few years that I've been a part of fraternity and got to know it, because I didn't know him before that.
Okay.
So I respect his opinions. I think he's dead wrong sometimes, but he also gives us who are interested in learning and growing and having a growth mindset. He gives us different perspectives to think about, and I think that's valuable.
Yeah. And listen to it, I said I don't listen to it as much as I used to. But he does give a good perspective, and it makes you think on stuff. It does make you think. So again, 101.7 The Truth is another outlet that I listen to other than WNOV 860, 106.5 on your FM stations.
Yeah.
Put that plug in there. But that's one of the two outlets of information that I get a lot of my information from. And I don't do MSNBC anymore, but I do CNN here and there. And I do Channel 12 for the local stuff. But yeah. So yeah, again, y'all, be safe, be warm, check on your folks. And we will see y'all next week with current County Executive David Crowley on the show. So come in. We're going to have a good time next week. Y'all stay safe.
Hi, Mom.